Hello guys, welcome back to yet another episode of Gyan Ka Dabba. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about testing in email marketing. Gyan Ka Dabba. And now one of the most powerful aspects of email marketing is that it can be tested and therefore optimized. Now there are no golden rules because what works for one audience won't necessarily work for another. So testing is your biggest ally. Now there are 6 pro tips for testing which one must follow according to us. And they're as follows. So the first tip is start simple. Test subject lines and headers first. It doesn't take a lot of time or creative work to come up with a few simple variants, and the returns can be significant. The second tip is that test one element at a time. If you test more than one element, you won't be able to tell which variant drove the success. Tip number 3 would be control for the time of day and day of the week. If you're testing other variants, then send on the same day and at the same time to eliminate the timing variant. The next tip is keep a log of all your tests. Record your findings so you can refer back to the specific variables tested and, more importantly, learn from them. The next tip is run on a sample that is representative. Run tests on groups that are small but large enough to determine a clear winner. The winning variable should then be incorporated into your larger mailing list. And last but definitely not the least, nothing is obvious. Even the most insignificant of variables might have the most damning impact on a campaign. In the words of Sherlock Holmes, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Now, these were the 6 pro tips for testing email campaigns. What is important also to understand is what is it that you need to test. And according to us, there are 15 elements that can be considered for testing email campaigns. And they are as follows. One is of course the subject line. You can try a couple of options in terms of which subject line works better for your audience and accordingly figure out which one works best for your audience. The next element to test is the from name. You can test a couple of names and then arrive at a conclusion as to which one gets the best results. The next variable is day of the week. So you might want to try a couple of options in terms of which day in the week gives you the best results. Once you've identified that, you can test the time of the day as to what time of the day when you send the emailer to your audience does it get the best results. The next thing that you might want to check is frequency. How many emails should you send in a span of say 1 month or so? Which number, whether it's 4 mails in a month, 6 mails in a month, 8 mails in a month, gets you the best response overall for the entire month. The next variable that you might want to check is the length of the copy in the body of your mail. You might want to try a couple of lengths and then figure out which one works better for your audience. The other variables you might want to check would be whether to use links, whether it's website links, newsletter links versus buttons, which one works best for your audience. The other thing you might want to check is how many links should you include in an emailer. The next variable you might want to check is whether the first name personalization should be done in the subject line. You might want to check the personalization in a subject line versus non-personalization in another subject line and then check for yourself which results work better. The next variable would be first name personalization in the email body. And you might want to send an email in which you have personalization and then compare the results with those where you don't have one. Font colors is the next variable that you might want to check. You might want to experiment with a few colors and then possibly arrive at the one which works best for your audience. Font styles is another variable that you can check amongst your email subscriber base. Call to action is another variable that you might want to check, whether it is moving on to a website, whether it's downloading an app, whether it's downloading a newsletter, whether it's making a call on a call center number. These are some of the call to actions that you might want to check before you arrive at which one works best for you. The other variable in terms of call to action is the placement of the call to action in the body of the mail. You might want to exercise 2 or 3 options in your emails that you send to your emailing lists and then basis the results arrive at the one which works best for you. And lastly, you might want to experiment with the tone of voice in your emailer. You might want to try options where it's either very corporate-ish, very formal, versus one where it's more peer-to-peer, more human, and you might want to arrive at which kind of tone of voice works best for you in the body of the email. So these are around 15 variables that you might want to check or test as part of your email testing process. Now, A/B testing or split testing is a method of optimization in which the conversion rates of two versions of an emailer, version A and version B, are compared to one another using live results. A/B testing is a term you might have heard commonly, and A/B testing takes the guesswork out of emailer optimization and enables data-backed decisions that shift your business conversation from we think to we know. So A/B testing is one way of testing email campaigns. The other way is multivariate testing. Now, multivariate testing uses the same core mechanism as A/B testing, but compares a higher number of variables and reveals more information about how these variables interact with each other. This is all we have as part of today's episode. We understood how important email testing is to ensure that when an email is sent out to a larger mailing list, there are enough learnings as to what works and what doesn't work. We understood what are some of the pro tips that one must follow while testing emails. We understood the variables or the elements that can be tested for efficacy in email campaigns, and lastly, we understood the difference between A/B testing and multivariate testing. So I hope this video was fairly informative to you, educative to you. If there's anything you think we missed out, or if there's any other learning that you might have had as part of your email marketing campaigns, please do share the same with us. And in fact, we'd love to hear your comments in the comment section below. And for more such videos, please do keep coming to our channel. Please do subscribe to our channel if you like our videos. We'll see you soon. Thank you.